Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to a new episode of God Concept Podcast. Well, I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. Man, just bringing it to you like it is, man. You know, it's what the doctor called for. You know what I mean? What the doctor called for. You know, this episode is going to be based upon this concept. The concept of this episode is going to be based upon what the doctor ordered. You know, um, a lot of us need diagnosis for things that we never get. A lot of us got conditions that we never get acknowledged. You know what I mean? It's a large part of why our culture, right? Our heritage, the things that we do, our nature, a lot of that is based upon what's going on with us mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. You know what I mean? A lot of this it plays on it plays on because of our spiritual state of mind, our emotional state of mind, our physical state of mind. It's all predicated upon something mental, things that you go through in this life. You know, a lot of this story that we live in, you know what I mean? A lot of things that we go through in this life, yeah, it's for spiritual reasons and things like that. But most of us never really understand or take this time to try to stop and understand what we're really going through here in this life. A lot of us just bumping around and making our way. Some of us, we get a thing and we stick to it, you know what I mean? And it's just that. But a lot of us, our realities get shaken up to the point where we can't just hold on to the life that we built or what we're trying to build. It's harder than that. It's more substantial than that. You know what I mean? Some of us go through things that you need help bouncing back from. Most of us go through things that you need help bouncing back from. And most of us never get that fucking help. Never get that somebody to come through and just understand and care about what you're genuinely going through, about what's really going on in your life. Most of us never get that, either from a loved one, from a friend, from somebody they just met, or from the system. You know, and I think it's more inappropriate that we live in a system that will manipulate the needs or psychological or health breakdowns of a person. They'll feed off of that, or they'll allow things that they know goes on with your family history, things that they know that you're possibly going to deal with in the future or in the present moment, and they'll just let that run rampant instead of actually getting you some help. You know what I mean? It's like your health insurance, right? You have health insurance, and a lot of people with issues and things like this have health insurance, right? Um, whether that be a mental issue, a spiritual, whatever the case may be, they would know that your family has a history of certain ailments. Why not bring that up and in the office, or you know, to use suggest therapy or recommend therapy of some type? Why not try to get a person this type of help before it goes too far and they can't come back? They can't get that help anymore because it went on for so long. Whatever problem it was persisted for so long that now there is no help in that problem. Or now trying to get help for that problem will be 10 times more harder than what it would have been if you would have actually got this person or these people help before the problem persisted and consistent. And you know, it constantly got worse over time and over time. A lot of people out here, man, and this it's horrible that this happened. It's horrible that these things happen in society nowadays. You know what I mean? Most of us grow up in a community, and your community know your family, know your father, know your mother, know this is going on, know that's going on. And instead of actually trying to get that family or that child or that mother or that father or that whomever help, right? They'll just sit back and judge them and like it's. Like it's just a natural occurrence. Oh, what is going on with that boy and that woman, but never try to get those people help. They would just talk about them behind their back. A silent ridicule, sort of say. It's like, why sit back and judge these people and sit up here and talk about how they're this and how they're that, when you know that what they're going through is a cycle that they can't seem to get out of. You know what I mean? It's a lack of compassion in our everyday society, in our culture. It's a lack of compassion and caring. I mean, once in a while you have somebody really care, what I mean, this and that. And everybody cares in their own particular way. And sometimes help is needed more than just $1 here, $2 there, or let me give you some weed here, let me get you high, or let me get you drunk, or let me just show you a good time. Sometimes help is needed. The surface issues that you see at the top is just the peak of the problem. You know what I mean? If you look under the surface, the problem is so much bigger and so much deeper and so much more intricate that people should really be getting help for situations like this out here. And there is help. The problem is the help is never taken to the person. It's always expected for a person to gravitate towards the help they need for a spiritual issue, for a mental issue, for a physical issue, for whatever it is. There's always a thing where, oh, well, this person, or, they'll figure it out that they need help, or somebody to guide them to the point where they, you know what I mean, get them there to the point where they can get help. And hopefully they actually get the help and they're actually able to recover from whatever it is they was going through. But it's OOC, my song OOC by the one and only Mr. Pagan. I love this track. It's a dope ass track. Most of us will never get that help. Some of us are led towards the help that we need, but we'll never get it. We'll never receive it. It's either somebody's not talking to us or we're not talking to somebody, or there's a misconnect and you disconnect right there. If you know what a person is going through and you know exactly what they need, you know, if it's like, okay, you have a lot of government officers out here that do things like give people you know, welfare, give them food stamps, give them money when they need it, this and that, right? And I know all, like, while you're going through these programs, you have most people asking you, hey, do you need help with this? Are you having trouble in your life in these areas? Are you having spousal issues? Are you having issues with your parents, your spouse, this or that? What have you been through in your past? How's your relationship with your children? They'll try to spark up all these different issues. But it's like, yeah, we could talk about all of that stuff, but it may not be the issue that you want. It may not be the areas where you feel as if you have issues in, right? More so, okay, I'm gonna say it like this. Not saying that everybody gotta be subject to this, right? But it's more so like this. If I understand and know, if I'm your caseworker or whatever the case may be, and I understand and know what you're going through, what your issue is, why not just attack that issue and not be vague about it, or cut corners, or give the person an out to say maybe as if that's not an issue. And I know it sounds crazy because it's like, yeah, you're in control of your life. Nobody can tell you whether you need help with something or not. This and that and the third. I understand. But if it's clear and evident that you need help in a certain area, you should get the help you need in that area, even if you refuse to have the help in that area. Right? Because everybody needs help, right? Sometimes we all have something that we're going through, maybe something that you've been going through, been going on all your life, so you really don't see it a problem. But at the same time, sometimes we're a bit stubborn and we don't want to acknowledge or accept the help that we really need, right? So sometimes it's up to somebody else to really say, you know what, I gotta put my foot down. I gotta get a hold on this person. I gotta really make them receive the help that they need to better themselves, to better, the lives of others around them, for their children, whomever. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to see a person just go down this slippery slope where they just don't know how to recover or recoup from a hardship, from a trial, from grief, from a medical condition, from a mental condition, from a spiritual condition. You know, a lot of people don't feel as if they even have a problem. They just feel as if they're them and they're who they're supposed to be, and not realizing that they've done dealt with an issue, right? With a problem, with, you know, whether that be mentally, physically, whether that be spiritually, emotionally. You dealt with this problem for so long that you don't even see it an issue. You know, others can see it. Others can see it. You know what I mean? Sometimes others can see it. Sometimes others can ignore it. Most of the times, people will see you got an issue with something, and instead of actually trying to help you, they'll make fun of you, or they'll poke fun at the fact that you have an issue or a problem, not understanding that there's the problem, right? I mean, you poking fun, or you making fun, or you manipulating a person who clearly has a problem somewhere in their life, right? It's something, and instead of ever trying to help, you know, repair or rebuild, you know, instead you take advantage, you manipulate, you do this. These are the things that I think about. These are the things that I think about, because there was a lot of times where it was at different times in my life, I needed help in different areas of my life. So I can speak on this issue quite well, because it was at times I needed help spiritually, you know, and I just had to search for the signs and see the signs to get me to get that help spiritually that I needed. You know what I mean? I would see the signs, I would see the messages, I would learn, I would try to learn the lessons that the creator was giving me from my external environment. Because the creator gives you messages through your environment, through people in your environment, many different ways, through different signs or whatever. The community, listen, the creator could use your device, your cell phone, your tablet, to send you messages about different things. And you wondering, like, why am I seeing these messages, and why these messages or whatever coincide with what I'm dealing with? It's because you always had that creator there. You know what I mean? You just gotta either you got to see the signs. You have to see the messages, right? You have to learn the lessons that you have to learn. You really got to look inward to look outwardly with that more awakened eye, that more raised eye, that eye that's going to get the messages and hear the signs that's coming from the environment around you, the people around you, this and that. Going to feed you. The creator's going to feed you these signs, these messages, these symbols to tell you to either slow down or pick it up, or stand still for a moment, or just be patient, or this or that. Send you these signs, you know. Some things when you know, you might get a test every week on this. I don't know. Every week there may be a test in the creator's design to see if you get the message. See if you're finally grasping the message that they've been trying to give you until you receive the next blessing. Right? So you got to get the message, you got to receive the message, implement what you're taught, right, from the creator, which sometimes a lot of people don't see the signs, the teachings, the learning lessons that they're going through in everyday life. But in fact, you are. Maybe every week, every 2 weeks, every so often, you're going to get a test on this. And when that test arrives, you have to pass that test. Whether that's perseverance, whether that's perseverance, whether that's patience, whether that's just whatever it is, whether that's just bettering yourself. You have to, when you receive them lessons and when you receive those signs and those messages, you have to use them. Now, I got off the topic a bit because I mean it all coincides though, because this is how you receive the help you need. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're not going to receive the help you need until you can clearly see the signs that's showing you that you need help in these areas. You need to tighten up on this. You need to tighten up on that. I'm blessed, man. For a while, for a long time, I had to walk alone amongst others, but I still walked alone. For a long time, it was amongst others, but I still walked alone, you know, and it felt lonely. And then you realize that those moments are put there intentionally to make you stronger in other avenues of your life, of who you are spiritually, mentally, physically. At times, it can feel like a breaking point. You know, you can feel like a breaking point. You can feel like you're at a breaking point, and you could, you know what I mean? You start making up things in your own mind, bringing things into reality that's not even real. You know what I mean? Because manifestation is a very real thing. And if you're thinking negatively, you're going to manifest negativity. You're going to start to see this negative image that you have in your mind projected out into the world. You know what I mean? And, you know, some of us have powerful minds like that. Some of us have, a powerful enough mind where we can actually shape the reality of others. Imagine that. Imagine to have a mind so powerful that you can think a thought and shape somebody's existence, somebody's reality, where you could just manifest shit into existence. Some of us had that power. You know what I mean? Some of us had that power and don't even know we have it. So you have to be so conscious of how you're using your mind, your words, and the things that you're saying on a daily basis. Even me, I'm guilty of this. And I'm gonna take this moment again to do this with, with a clear conscience and a clear mind, and apologize any negativity that I spread on my podcast, but I've been fed so much bullshit and so much negative, like in my life, being used, being betrayed, being fucking set up, being monitored, and being taken advantage of, because you know my character, you know my personality. That fucking hurts, man. That hurts, and that builds up a resentment. You know, that builds up resentment, rage, revenge. I never been a hater though. I can say that confidently. I never been a fucking hater in my life. I always congratulated. You know what I mean? But it's just I've been just abused. Like, and that's bad, by people that I love, people that I extended love to, people that I believe loved me. And I've been abused by these people, man. Just hurt, drug, like can't even explain it. People that you've been there for, and all of us had these stories where you've been there for somebody and they still just never even like get it. Like, what is wrong with their soul? What is wrong with their mind? What is wrong? Like, everybody not built like us. They not like us. You know what I'm saying? They not. They don't feel the pains of others. They don't feel what others go through. Some people just don't have a lick of empathy in them. Some do, and they hide it. They try to come back later on and try to mend the pieces, but I guess I could forgive, but I never forget. You know what I mean? That's the person I am. I could forgive somebody for something, but I never forget. And some things are just unforgivable. You could forgive, and you could forgive, but it's unforgivable at the same time. Like, yeah, I forgive you because I know that forgiveness is not for the person that's giving forgiveness. Forgiveness is for you. So you can move forward and pass on with no hatred in your heart, right? Because I never want to be a evil-hearted person, right? So I can forgive, but never really like forgive to the point where I'm gonna still be in this person's presence and things like that. It's just because I forgive, you know what I mean? I forgive this person, no problem. I can move on. I can see him and not actually hurt this person. You ever got that point with people where you can see them, you want to hurt them though, but when you see him, you forgive him to the Creator, you forgive him to God, you forgive him for yourself, so you're not gonna lash out. But you know that you can go 0 to 100 on this nigga real quick, or whomever this is, real quick, because they know it's there. So there's always an avoidance. You know what I mean? An avoidance right there going on because they don't want to see you and you don't want to see them because you don't want to have to fuck them up and they really don't want to get fucked up on the level that they deserve to get fucked up on. So it's like it's an avoidance there. And see nowadays with this technology bullshit, people could push buttons from afar. People could push buttons and like this and like that, knowing you don't fuck with them, but they'll still try to fuck with you on some level, which is really some bitch shit to me. You know what I mean? And I experienced that. Most people, they don't even most people, whoever like whoever played games in your life in the past, they won't even what they'll do is they'll just watch your social media feeds or whatever you got going on. If you got something going on, then they'll just watch. They'll just watch, they'll just follow this, that. All right. Cause you never know, who's involved with what, when it comes down to past situation past situations because once you see life from a spiritual level or in a spiritual way, you understand that everything is connected, so there is no disconnection from one situation to another. It's connected in some type of way. You're connected because you're part of each of these situations, whatever it is that's happening in your life. You're directly a part of it. You're in that situation. That's your scenario that you're in, whether the parties know each other or not or whomever. And still, the case is the 100% fact of it is everything is connected in one shape, way, type, form, or fashion. It's all connected. You know, we all need help in some different ways. Maybe I need help in this way where I'm seeing things in too much of a spiritual light. But if that's truly what we're dealing with here, right? If what we're dealing with is a reality that's basically us, like I break it down as us walking in three realities at one time, us living in three different realms at one time, in the mental, the spiritual, and in the physical, right? And this is what we get when all three realms collide. But it's something more, it, you know, perfect example. Remember back in the day on the TVs, you had to plug in the red, the yellow, and the white to get the picture to come on, right? The red, yellow, and the white is those three realities that I talk about. Those are the three wires that you had to plug in from your DVD player, from your game system, from your VCR, whatever. You had to plug those three wires in the back of your TV to get it to come on, right? It's deep, so I'm getting a little passionate. My bad. So those are the three wires that's plugged in to get you to see this picture that's here, to live this life, right? You got to be mentally connected, spiritually connected, and physically connected to see, feel, smell, hear, taste, you know, to do anything. You had to have these three components. You had to have mental, spiritual, and physical right here. So that's how our reality works. You know, realizing that is amazing to me because I really feel like I cut a hole in my hand, my finger right there, nice big joint, nice big gash in my finger or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I felt that. The shit hurt it. You know what I mean? So this is real. This is reality. I could really die. I could really hurt. I could really love. I could really feel. I could really smell. And all this is real. I feel this body. You know what I mean? I work out and things like that. I try to meditate. I try to do what I can to keep this body going. You know what I mean? And I wanted to look a certain way and I wanted to feel a certain way. And you know, I, it's like, so I work towards that, you know, and this is real. But to know when this is over, right? When this life is over for me and it continues for others, hopefully it will. Once this life is over for me and it continues for others, I know that there's a life after this. I know that there's something after this. Even for a brief moment, a period in time, I can't, you know, I'm down, the lights are shut off on me. Even though there's that moment, I know that there's a moment where everything will just come back. It's a continuum in a way. It's a continuum in many ways. I just don't know whether I'm happy or sad to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if it's a continuum, right? Because I got another saying that I say. You see how wear this all-seeing eye right there, right? Our eyes are to the creator, right? This is my saying. Our eyes to the creator is like a camera to any great director, right? Everything is seen, heard, and recorded. What if what we go through is just some type of film, some type of report, some type of um we all like to watch movies and stories and things like that. They say that we are images of our creator. What if we like the allure of a good story on the TV, a good movie, is because our lives are all good movies to the creator. I think the only part we got it twisted on is when we say that our lives are written already. I believe to some extent they are directed, right? Right? And going back to the director thing, our lives are directed, but they're directed from a point of view of the choices that we make. I try to make the best choice, and I believe that the creator also allows the creator works through people by making them make the best choices for you, or you know what I mean. It's like guiding them towards you. You know what I mean. Some people are guided and directed into your life. You know, I mean, the things that I've been going through, it's been a lot. I'm honestly going to work on another book, a few more books and everything, but it's been a lot. And I noticed that people are really guided into your life. You're guided into people's lives. Like you're guided into people's lives. So your daily interaction with people is a guided interaction, but it's all predicated upon how you see it, how you feel about this person. What's the emotion that you're going through right then and there? How is this person making you feel? Are they being genuine with you? Are they being douchey with you? Are they being upset or whatever? How can you make this interaction the way you want this interaction or as best as possible? Nowadays, people want to make their interactions with people. Um, like they want to win. They want to be victorious in an interaction with a person. I mean, yeah, it's always good to try to be on top, but at the same time, that dehumanizes both parties. I mean, or one party in a way. Depends on who's actually naturally seeing everything the right way. For example, right? Mm, I forgot the example. Just sometimes you gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them when interacting with anybody. Because you got some people that just want to win a conversation or an interaction with people. I just want to come out more light. You know what I mean? More, you know what I mean? Like, okay, if we interacting, we want to have a good interaction. And if the interaction had to be bad or whatever, then it had to be that way. You know what I mean? So it's all subjective, I guess. I digress. And yeah, I just wanted to do this episode real quick because I ain't been doing no episodes really. I've been tied up in everyday life shit, work, this and that, missing listen, I've been going through a lot of shit. You know, it's 2026, and I'm just hoping and praying and got my eyes set, my vision set on. making this year be better than last year and the year before last and the year before last, man. Because it's, you know, I just thank God for my blessings, for who's in my corner, and I thank the Creator for God, the moves that I make. Um, all the time. I don't think they're the smartest moves that I make sometimes, but damn it, they're the best ones that I got. They're the ones that I got set before me. So I do what I have to do. You know, um, it's all theatrical, man. Sometimes you're gonna be up, sometimes you're gonna be down, sometimes the show calls for you to go through some shit. You know what I mean? Sometimes, sometimes the show calls for you to go through some shit. Sometimes it's gonna be a rough road. You know what I mean? Then other times it's going to be you coming up, you got this, you on your way, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Well, that's my episode of God's Concept Podcast. Peace.